We were having a discussion as well on Twitter, Gibby. I don't know if you saw this with some of the great listeners of our program. The two-time equipment manager of the year.
Look at that.
There he is. Look at him. Listen, he said if I gave him a shout-out, I might be able to get on that equipment staff hoodie train.
You can't. I've already asked.
There's one person who can put me on that train.
I think Brad is it.
And he is the reigning NFL Coach of the Year.
And Callie. I think Callie could put you on that train. No? Only the only. Whoa.
One man.
There's nothing that's going to be said on this show.
That's why he wears it.
That is more important than what the information that you have just laid out for the people.
He said it is the toughest, it is the most requested item that exists on the planet, and it is the most limited in access.
Well, that's the Pappy Van Winkle model.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And now I desire it. My goal, my quest for 2021 is to – there he is again. Yep. See, you got a shout-out. Yeah, that's right. Let's go, baby. I don't know. If there is another man that could do it, he's the one. Brad Mellon is the one.
What if we did this? What if we agreed that if he were to let us wear one or to make – because he has to make them for us. It's not like these come. He makes them.
Sure.
If we only wore them on the show and not outside the building.
I'm going to bring this up with him.
We will wear them on the show, and then they will stay here. And
Let's not put so many rules on this. I'd like to wear this. There'd be nothing better than to wear this in a return to Croatia for me, stepping off of a plane in that hoodie, feeling like the king of the world.
There's a
the Red Keep.
But so I'm very curious about this, and actually more curious than any game that we're going to talk about now that you brought this up.
We have a big game on Sunday.
That's true. But we do have equipment interns in them.
They're in the equipment department. If you're in the
equipment department, you get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I found another way in. Equipment interns.
Like Vaughn and Wilson.
Right, on the line.
Google.
On the line.
Yeah.
No, but it's going to be on the line. You mean like You mean like Instagram?
Facebook, whatever they were. What's that movie? Weren't they interns at Google?
Yeah, they were. That's the line. He goes,
Yeah.
he goes, we're going to come up with this thing where you put all your images, all your phone. We're going to put it on. It's going to be online. No, but it's going to be on the line. Like Instagram? No, on the line.
Genius.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
That might be our way in. So we have two ways in that we can try. The direct ask to KS, which that will have to come in April. Like, you can't. That's an April conversation.
No, what I'd like to do, though, because he's a person who's all about goals and work, what I would like to, I think I'm going to inquire and say, listen, I want you to know that I've got a goal. And I want to do.
Can we do
we? Thanks, Goose.
We have a goal.
We have a goal.
Like, let's just make sure that we're in there.
And we're all about the work. What do we have to do?
What do we need to do?
Tell us.
Yeah.
You need some minestrone soup?
Done.
I've got that.
I got a hell of a chili recipe. I don't know if he likes whiskey. I'd be willing to throw him a bottle.
I got nice
tequilas.
He likes
beers. Things can fall off trucks really easily for me. I'll deliver a truck to your front lawn.
That's one
of your favorite
things
beverage.
Can fall
all right.
off trucks.
So we have
a lot of ways in here.
I got distracted earlier when this happened. Brad Mellon walked by. But there was a discussion online about the Mount Rushmore of Gibbays.
Okay.
The Mount Rushmore of Gibbays. And I'd appreciate everybody tweeting us at Nathan Zegura, at Beau Bishop, at BGSU Gibbs, should be at Gibbay, but neither here nor there, and at Browns_Daily with what the Mount Rushmore of the four Gibbays that would be on your Mount Rushmore. And so,
what does that mean?
Chesty Gibbay.
Well, listen, I mean,
there's on Mount Rushmore.
Without question, the George Washington is Wednesday night taped.
Wednesday night taped Gibbay
is the
on
George
the
Washington.
That's right.
Like when you say, hey, we're going to do a monument, we're going to carve out of the stone the presidents. Where's Washington go? That's Wednesday.
He's
night
on
taped.
Wednesday nights.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Washington only works Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
So I think Wednesday night Gibbay, you got Chesty Gibbay.
Chesty Gibbay is unbelievable. Chesty Gibbay is probably the Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Of the
now,
foursome.
Those are the two that are just absolute locks to me.
Yeah.
In the mix,
okay.
I'll tell you what's not in the mix. Ibs Boy Gibbay, BPA Crud Gibbay.
Heel Gibbay.
Yeah. No. Now you could have cage rattling Gibbay.
I love cage rattling Gibbay. I like when his anger isn't. I like when his anger is not focused at us, but at others.
Yeah, it's more the threat of cage rattling than actual cage rattling.
Yeah,
but threatening a good cage.
We've seen it actually work too.
I mean, behind the music rock band Gibbe.
That is the Abraham Lincoln of Gibbe's.
That's a pretty good.
Because every once in a while, that's the Abraham Lincoln of the Mount Rushmore. Every once in a while, you'll hear "Oh yeah, I did this at the for U2 on the whatever tour." You
come again?
What?
Right.
You
I brought the Moodleys to their knees with these stories as he regaled them at Izumi in Baltimore Harbor. Then I would say
I was at Whiskey A Go Go with the Black Crows in 1997.
No big deal.
Come again?
Yeah.
I was talking Viper Room today with
someone
in the building.
See? This is the sneaky
of high importance.
This is what I'm saying. That's why that's the Abraham Lincoln. So I think you have 3.
That's 3.
And then
the
fourth,
do we get
who's
into
the FDR?
Do we get into like violent basketball Gibbe, lawless Gibbe in terms of all of his brushes with the law, banned at the border Gibbe? I mean, there are a lot of other Gibbes for that 4th, but I think the 3.
I don't think I've been banned at the border.
Were you not banned at the border? Were you with somebody who was banned at the border?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I remember there was a banned at the border
Yes.
story. Sopranos Gibbe just now. We can make things fall off trucks.
Yeah. Wednesday night, if you look at Rushmore, if you think of it this way, I mean, look at an image. I mean, Wednesday night taped. Look how Washington's represented.
Prominently.
I mean, that's what you want.
It's prominent.
That's there.
That's there.
Yeah. And
Chesty Gibbe is number 2.
So that would be the Abraham Lincoln on the other end.
Yeah.
Would be Chesty Gibbe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think Whiskey A Go Go Viper Room Gibbe is probably Jefferson.
Yeah. So who's Teddy? Cage rattling Gibbe? Ostertag Gibbe? Throwing the guy through the in the church league?
I love frustrated Gibbe.
Frustrated Gibbe's are
I do not.
I love it.
I'm not a fan.
Especially in the scores segment, in the higher lower segment.
Yeah.
I really enjoy
thwarted Gibbe.
those. Thwarted.
Exasperated Gibbe.
All right, we'll work on that.
Okay.
We'll get that.
I think this is
put
fun.
it on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Let's get into your OBM hot topics. Ohio Business Machine preferred copy provider, your Cleveland Browns, for all the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000. Visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. What if we volunteered to put the decal numbers on the helmets one game?
I would do that. That would be an honor.
I would do that for sure, right?
Yeah.
There's no way he'd let us near him, but that would be – I imagine that's an arduous process.
No.
I believe there's one person that does it.
Oh.
Jimmy.
Oh, boy.
Jimmy.
Jimmy's a legend.
That's
By
a
the way,
legend.
blew up on YouTube.
It's an awesome video. I love that.
Great video. Here's one from Iron Will. He's pretty plugged in.
Yeah.
Lurking Gibbe.
Lurking Gibbe that might be the Thomas Jefferson right there. Lurking Gibbe.
I mean,
that goes. We missed it from the combine. We weren't at the
totally.
combine last year, so we didn't have it.
Totally.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so I think all of those things are good. Only one player on our active roster not practicing today. That is Greg Newsome. We know he is out. Everyone else is on the field, including Wills and even Treader. Treader on a Friday. Has he been doing that?
No, but he's sometimes limited on a Friday. I'm going to give you a little limited. He's back. I expect him to play. Wills play. Hubbard is out.
Oh.
Chris Hubbard will not play on Sunday.
So there is some news there on that front. So that certainly forces the Wills hand a little bit more, and then Hance would be behind him if there is.
And I think Hudson has had a very good week of practice, I'm told. So perhaps it would be the rookie out of Cincinnati that would get the next call.
Wow, that would be something. And that's a big spot.
It would be.
Yeah, it would be. Hopefully Jed can stay healthy and give it a go. Sione seemed like weak too. Seemed like he was not.
He was limited all week. So,
yeah.
I mean, he's been able to get out there. So hopefully if he's a guy that you want in some of those obvious run situations, you want him on the field trying to contend with Dalvin Cook because it would appear as though Dalvin Cook will play.
I think as soon as he was available to the media this week, you knew he was playing.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. That's a pretty telltale sign. I think, for them, they played it pretty well because the guy who played last week was great. Madison was good.
Fantastic.
Right. And so now you've got them both. And I think it's I'm very confident about who the Cleveland Browns are. I'm not sure what the Minnesota Vikings are because of the teams that they've played. They've played 3 relatively similar teams. They have played 3 teams that are good offensively. They do it in different ways, but 3 good offensive teams and 3 teams that aren't very good defensively. And statistically, they've matched up to those opponents. We're the first totally complete team they've played.
Yes, we're by far the best defense that they have
No
played.
question. Yeah.
Yes. I agree with that.
I mean, you'd say, well, what about Seattle? Seattle's got like Wagner's 6-time first-team All-Pro, and obviously Adams is very, very good in a row so he's on the verge of breaking records. But they can't get anything up front.
Name one pass rusher on there.
They can't get anything up front. They can't get any push, and so they're just limited with what they can do. And they were nowhere near Cousins last week. So we're without question the most complete team that they have played. They are not the best team we've played. We've played Kansas City. Kansas City is quite a bit better than Minnesota in my estimation. But it's going to be fun. It's a really fascinating game, and it's a start of a critical stretch for this football team. It is a critical stretch. We're Minnesota. We're at LA. Back here for the Cardinals, right? Do I have that right? That's 3 weeks from Cardinals in 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Thursday night against Denver. I think Denver's a paper tiger. And then it's division game, right? Because it's Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Yeah. That's how you close that 6. So, boy, if this team is what we believe it is, a 6-game record, you're looking at 4-2, 5-1.
It puts you at 6-3 right there.
Yeah.
Which would be a great spot.
Which would be great, considering how difficult this stretch is. But that's what the good teams do. My hunches were favored in every one of these games except for next week.
And by the way, you mentioned that stretch, and then coming out of that stretch, you still have 2 games with Baltimore to go. You still have Green Bay on Christmas. You have a Vegas game that feels more interesting than perhaps when we first saw it on the schedule. Yeah. There's still a lot to do.
There's a lot
and
of
that Bengals team is frisky. Joe Burrow is very, very good.
Yes, he is. Do you want to rethink Cousins over him?
He's got to do it for a long time. I mean, I think his ceiling is significantly higher. I never at any point
I think he's really good. I think if he doesn't blow his knee last season, he's
great.
Pace. And the only thing that's they're off to a little bit of a slow start now, but he can do everything. He's so crafty with the ball. They did it last night without Higgins. That's heartbreak for Urban. Heartbreak. And he said it postgame, like they're just devastated. Like not only lose DJ Shark, they had almost too much in that game. I think it'll be a very awkward week and a half down there. Meantime, for Cincinnati, they finish a quarter at 3-1. First time since when they've done that.
Since probably Marvin Lewis and
they would think about this.
Dalton,
if they lose
Marvin
last night,
Jones, AJ Green,
Gibbe.
If they lose last night, everything that they had done would have been for naught.
You're good. I thought you were going to break and come back and talk Thursday night. Go ahead and talk Thursday, and then we'll do a short segment going into our guest at 1:30.
It would have felt.
I'm just following your rundown. You have it right here in the first segment.
Ooh. Served Gibbe.
If they lose last night,
if
they lose last night, the goodwill of beating Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh, because that matters to them, even though Pittsburgh's not what they used to be, the goodwill of that and the goodwill of beating Minnesota is evaporated.
Gone.
It's gone.
Yes, there's panic, devastation.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They found a way to win. I think the thing that's fascinating watching that game is that Trevor Lawrence, everything is so close to the line of scrimmage. You had the one play that was kind of a busted one that he just kind of threw up to Chenault. But other than that, what stressed that defense in any way vertically?
No, they didn't. It's almost like, that's what they were doing early in the year, and it's almost like they went away from that, and they went heavy run. It was a good game plan, obviously over-reliant on Lawrence running in the first half. It's what got him. I like that Wilson kid. I liked him out of Wyoming in the draft. I remember us talking about him, the linebacker out of Wyoming in the draft. I think Dane liked him a lot, too, if memory serves.
And Jermaine Pratt's playing pretty nice for them as well.
Yeah.
If we go into the Wayback
Machine. The Wayback Machine, absolutely. But, yeah, like that's one of those ones where just give it to Robinson and be done with it. As soon as I saw him in the gun, I went, what are we doing here?
Right.
Put him under center and hand the ball to
Or if you're going to go under the gun, do the Tebow play.
Right.
Everybody expected him to run it, and he did, and have him run, and then just a little quick pop pass, and you're golden. By the way, on that play, I think he had an option to pitch it. It felt to me like it was kind of a pitch or to throw.
Yeah.
Because Marvin Jones, and if he had just looked to the top of his screen, Marvin Jones, not that I had any vested interest in what Marvin Jones was doing in the game, 3 targets, are we serious?
Yeah.
Was wide open, ran a fade, and basically shook the corner completely.
Yeah. It's a nice win for Cincinnati. No Higgins, no Bates. I mean, that's good for them to win.
I even think if I'm the Jags right there, the way that you've been playing, of course you want to go for that knockout, you want to get a touchdown. But first of all, I'm going to give it to James Robinson, who feels, and the announcer even said, he gets a yard more than what is there, and sometimes a lot more. I think that was kind of a disrespectful comment.
It goes back to how stupid it was to draft who they drafted in the first place.
Well, they
panicked
didn't need
to do it
because they wanted Kadarius Toney,
right? And they panicked. Yeah.
Which Kadarius Toney feels a lot like a Laviska Shenault clone.
Right. You didn't need him.
run it or kick the field goal and make it. It's at that point it's a 3-possession game, and you have some feeling about that because had you kicked the field goal, then guess what? At the end of the game, it's different.
Yeah.
So it was a bad loss. By the way, shout out to our boy the Hoff.
The Hoff.
24-21 Bengals was his final score given pregame.
The man just gets up in the morning and exudes excellence.
That's right.
That's all he does. Going to be a fun program. Donovan Peoples-Jones going to join us in about 15 minutes from now. We'll give a little fantasy advice from the good Dr. Z coming up next. He gave me the advice on James Robinson last night. I was on the edge to play him or not. I did.
Yes.
Big win for me. Off and running here on a Football Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Browns fans can win big with the digital scratch-off game brought to you by Ohio Lottery on the ClevelandBrowns.com and the Browns social channels. Fans can play once per day throughout the season by digitally scratching off a virtual card for chances to win great prizes like Team Shop gift cards and tickets to future games. For more information, log on to promotions.clevelandbrowns.com. It's interesting. So this we'll get to the fantasy in a second, then DPJ. The Mount Rushmore Gibbe. I'm with Jade. Lurking Gibbe is a lock. I mean, she's got that.
She's got that right.
Lurking
and
Gibbe.
Jade is.
It just wasn't top of mind because we weren't at the combine last year.
But when you get back,
but
there,
that is a gift. there's so much joy I get of seeing the Gibby lurking, trying to tackle people. He's the best at it.
First of all, Rappaport has nightmares about lurking
Oh,
Gibby.
God. Sims has become an adversary.
Sims will fake vomit to get away from Gibby.
That's true. Yeah.
That's elite. I do think, as Underdog points out, purposely gave myself a sunburn, a.k.a. two-tone Gibby is a good one. Somebody said, irritated and mad basketball trying to kill an opponent Gibby. What about bar stories enduring an adult beverage Gibby? That's just Gibby.
That's permanent.
Yeah, that's permanent.
Same. Always.
Right. That's always.
Yeah. Where did this image come that Kip retweeted of a fully bearded Gibby? And by the way, the salute to service stuff is out. I noticed.
I'd like that. I'd like some of that.
We haven't had that since I've been here.
No way. We used to get that.
I've not got. No, there's been no salute to service since I've been here.
We got sweatshirts last year.
Maybe you did.
I'd like to do it again.
I did not. Not that I need them. It's fine. It's fine. He's safe.
There used to be a salute to service quarter zip. I have one, but that's like 7 years old.
I was going to say
8 years old.
That never existed in my time here.
But it says Gibby paying off a debt, and I'm trying to see. I also think it's funny that at that time on Browns Daily, the scores were given 15 minutes. That was before.
And it was just the score. Well, I guess because it was the Super Bowl. So this is before the Super Bowl. So it is just the score.
It is just the score. Yeah. What were you paying us off a debt for?
That was the sushi. Remember the fantasy football playoff edition that I drafted a quarterback after you two drafted quarterbacks?
Yeah, in the first round. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Didn't need to do it. Could have waited till the very end.
Yeah.
It was right before COVID shut us down.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of that just
131-20.
Victory Monday, Chris has a great idea that we should just show up in the equipment room like Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez had been at work.
We're ready.
Just show up. What do we need to do?
What are we doing here?
Mr. Mellon, what do we need to do?
Where's my hoodie?
What do I need to do?
Yeah.
You tell me, man. I'm here to help. All right. By the way, right before yesterday's game, you gave me James Robinson, which was I was on the edge. I was probably going to play him or Chuba Hubbard. I think both actually could be decent starts this weekend. Who do you like this weekend fantasy-wise, my friend?
Well, I obviously am a big fan of the Rams in this going against Arizona. I think it's about a lot of this is about matchups and it's about opportunity. So for the matchup, I think Robert Woods actually gets it going. Higbee, of course, Cooper Kupp, the number one fantasy player, and you've got a quarterback Stafford. I think Chuba Hubbard steps in for Christian McCaffrey and gives you a very nice game, one that you'll be very, very happy with, very proud of to have in your lineup this week. So I like him a lot as well. Najee Harris keeps it going. He's a PPR machine. DeAndre Swift, same. Look for David Montgomery to bounce back. And I think even though they're playing Kansas City, Philly, with all the criticism they've got, how do they not feed the ball to Miles Sanders? I mean, he's looking pretty good. You got to give him the rock. You can't give him his first carry on your fourth possession when you have a shaky quarterback. So that's one. And then if you're desperate at running back, if he's still out in your league, Cordero Patterson. I don't understand how this has come to be. I mean, I feel like he's been in the league for 15 years.
Yes.
Started off as a kick returner for Preef in Minnesota.
Right.
And now look at this guy. But he's relevant. He is. So give him a look as well.
All right. Good stuff on that front. By the way, did you see our mutual friend Mr. Dog is going to be playing the Super Bowl halftime show?
What a lineup. Dre,
funny,
Snoop, Eminem.
Right. Kendrick Lamar.
Mary J.
I had a bunch of people tweet me. He goes, what happened to the Super Bowl halftime just playing classic rock gigs? That is classic rock.
At this point,
these guys are classic. Like this was the 90s, man.
The Chronic was 1993.
Right.
Doggy Style was 1994.
Yes, 94. Yeah. I mean, NWA would have been.
By the way,
early
that's
90s.
almost 30 years ago, Coach.
Yeah. I know. Here's my hunch.
That is a classic.
You have to obviously, they're going to do California Love. The question becomes, does Kendrick Lamar play the role of Tupac, or
hologram Tupac?
Do they hologram Tupac?
Yeah, hologram Tupac. Or I think you could do. What if they even come with those deep fakes now that they're able to do, where you can like really make it look like it's Tupac even though it's not. They might deep fake Tupac,
like with a human in disguise, or like
a human, and then his face though will be.
No, I don't think you can
Tupac's.
do that. With all the crazy stuff around that, I don't think you can. Like all the people with the conspiracy, I don't think you can do that. I think you can do hologram Tupac. Or you can do, or you got to do Kendrick Lamar does it.
Think about what they're doing, like you said, with De Niro or.
Kurt Russell, I know, but I mean, I think it's those people were alive, and you were doing it. This is not. You were at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, Niners, Ravens.
I was not at the game itself.
You were not. when the Niners came out to California Love. Come on.
Strong.
Come on.
There's gold in them there.
I want to say the Ravens did like It's a Beautiful Day or something by U2, which is a fine song, puts you in a good mood. But when that dropped and the Niners came out, it's a good job out of them. Very, very good job out of them. That's going to be fun. I look forward to that. All right, look forward to what's coming up next as well. Donovan Peoples-Jones calling into the program. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. EOX Vantage has that local presence with the global footprint, trusted by some of the world's biggest brands. It's a testimonial from an EOX Vantage client named Tom Darty. He's the Senior Vice President of Specialty Programs at the NIP Group. He has a saying about working with EOX Vantage: if you dream it, they can build it. We generate lots of ideas for them to carry out. They've implemented everything we've come up with. We brainstormed a way to innovate and improve our company, and we use EOX Vantage for the infrastructure, coding, and programming capabilities, technological expertise, and the experience working with the global brands. We are absolutely thrilled with the partnership, and you can learn more about EOX Vantage by visiting www.eoxvantage.com or 216-298-1616. Again, that's 216-298-1616. We've certainly talked this week a lot about the matchup, their receivers against our corners, and that's a big one with Greg Newsome out and Greedy Williams into that slot.
Yes.
Conversely, on the other side of things, our receivers, and Odell Beckham Jr. healthy last week and probably gaining confidence as he goes along. Donovan Peoples-Jones in the mix, who will join us here shortly. Rashard Higgins getting back into the mix.
Donovan's on the line.
Speaking of Donovan Peoples-Jones, how about the timing on that?
What
Let's
an
talk to our
absolute
great friend,
treat.
the great Donovan Peoples-Jones, joining us on the hotline. Thanks, buddy, for taking the time. We're headed into the end of the first quarter of this season, and this team is doing a lot of what we all expected it to do. You guys had a magical Sunday at the stadium last week. How do you assess where this team is, specifically offensively, and where it needs to go?
Really, I think we just take it week by week, focus on our opponent, try to do everything we have to do each week to, stay focused on our plan. And, when we out there on game day, we just go out and execute.
Donovan, whenever you talk to the coaches about you, the word they always use is dependable, prepared, that you are ready to go. And, you had that great training camp. We talked many, many times throughout that training camp. You come into the season, and, one thing that I think is interesting about being a receiver is you don't control when you always get the football. And there have been plenty of times where you've been open this year and the ball's gone somewhere else for a successful completion. But every time they've thrown you the ball, you've caught it. And I thought your third down catch on that last drive in the first half was as big a catch as we'd had. It was 3-3 at that point. We could have given them the ball back as they were going to get it to start the second half anyway. When you think about making the most of your opportunities in a team with so many weapons where the ball is going to be spread around to so many people, how do you keep that focus, play in, play out, not knowing when it's coming, but obviously always being ready when it does?
You just try to keep focused. Study your plan so you know what's going on, at all times, and prepare like you are going to get the ball on every play. That way, that's the way I like to do it, so I'm not surprised. That's the way I like to do it.
And you've done
just
it.
Go out there and trust in myself.
And you've done it very well. Like I said, that catch on the sideline, the one earlier in the game against the Bears, a beautiful little toe drag swag, as they call it. When you went back, and remember, we'll go back 2 weeks ago, Baker goes out, the shoulder, pops it back in, leads that drive down there. He ends up running in a touchdown on that one. Did you say, hey, Bake, they busted the coverage over here. Just throw it to me. Don't expose yourself to any of these hits.
Sometimes I wish I could yell that loud and, the crowd wasn't there and that he could hear me. But, hey, it's football. It's a team sport.
That's right.
I'm not the only one out there.
Donovan, I think that's been one of the coolest things about you. You mentioned how you prepare, you do that work, you do the studying. I remember we talked to Chad O'Shea last year on the program, the way you came in the Dallas game and were thrust into action, and it was actually your blocking, how you were always where you were supposed to be. Where does that come from with you? Where does that willingness, that effort to always be prepared, where's that come from?
Really just from my coaches from a young age. Just being versatile, being the guy that can do multiple things and not just like a one-trick pony, being the guy that can make the tough blocks, make the tough catches, who knows what he's doing. That's what I just try to do and try to continue to do.
What was it like finally getting in front of this crowd? And I saw your mom in attendance at both these home games. What was it like to kind of get in front of that crowd for the first time, have that familial support, and feel that energy from First Energy Stadium?
It's awesome. It's awesome. This being my first year kind of with the crowd, even having, multiple family members able to come to my game has just been everything. They would help keep me going.
What have our veteran receivers meant to you? What's Jarvis meant to you? Hollywood, I think of those guys who have been around. And have you leaned on those guys over the first year and a half of your career?
Oh, 100%. Those guys mean everything to me. I'm really happy to be here around them because I pick up so much from them. Not just on the field. Those guys are older. They have more experience, not just with football, but with everything. So those guys have been a tremendous help. I really can't thank them. I can't thank them enough.
What's the best piece of kind of advice you've gotten from either a guy in the locker room or from Coach O'Shea?
The best piece of advice? Wow, that's tough. That's one of those questions where, you gotta kind of have to think about it a little bit, and might have to get back to you on that one.
Okay,
but,
all right. Listen, we're gonna. You're a great friend of the program. You'll be on again.
Be on again.
Yeah,
buddy.
you can.
Get safe.
You can marinate on that one when you're not focused on the task at hand against the Vikings. I will ask you though. One of the things we talked about the condition that you came back in here at training camp, and you mentioned you wanted to be faster. You wanted to have better wind. Well, you've already played 146 offensive snaps this year. You played 268 in the entirety of your rookie season through 3 games. How have you seen the benefits of that wind and that stamina now that you are playing a high percentage of the team's offensive snaps?
Really just taking it day by day, focusing on what I can do to be better, focusing on, what I need as an individual, listening to the guys around me and, just trying to be there for my team.
Donovan, I think I know the answer to this, and I don't know how. I wonder how aware he's even made you guys of this. But of course, Coach was in Minnesota for 14 seasons before coming here last year. There's many people on this staff who spent time in Minnesota. Did he make any reference to that this week with you guys in terms of headed back to Minnesota? I think I know the answer, knowing him, that he probably didn't, that this is no different than anything else. But I'm curious if you noticed it being any different than a normal game week for Coach Stefanski.
Our coach is a great coach that, he preaches every week is a week of his own. And, doesn't matter who we play next week, doesn't matter about the week before. Every week is a week of his own. And, we're focused on our opponent, and that's it.
Donovan, you made your NFL debut in an indoor stadium back in Dallas, week 4 of the 2020 season. What are the differences for a wide receiver after playing on grass basically the rest of that season and on grass so far this year? Are there any differences? And if so, what are the differences getting ready for an indoor game for a receiver?
At the end of the day, football is football. I played a lot of games on grass. I played a lot of games on turf.
Are you faster on turf?
I believe I'm faster, wherever. I'm not sure. I don't know how to answer that question. It's fun for me to be out there with my teammates, and I love this team.
And we love having you on it, Donovan. It is a pleasure to see your continued ascent in this organization, in your position group. And as much as the coaches love you, I know that the fans and everybody listening right now love you even more. And so we are thrilled to kind of see your development and get to be here, kind of see the start of your career. Listen, the fact of the matter is the Browns have thrown 24 passes to our guest, Donovan Peoples-Jones. He has caught 8 of them in his career for 361 yards. My math tells me that's 20 yards a catch and 2 touchdowns, none bigger than, of course, the one in Cincinnati in Week 7 a year ago. So, that also throw it to him a little more, folks.
Good luck this week, Donovan.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time out.
All right, we appreciate you.
He is he's great, and he is a guy that I think his approach was so cool from a guy. He was the number 1 high school receiver in the country.
That's right.
Number 1 high school receiver in the country. And when he came in here, was not drafted probably where he thought he was, and that can go a lot of different ways. And Donovan took that and said, as fire. And build. And what you saw was a sponge last year. And when Chad told us that last year about the Dallas game and how he blocked how he didn't miss an assignment blocking. Wasn't he the number 1 graded blocking player on our team
in that game?
In that game, where he had been inactive,
yep.
and he was thrust in, and was the number 1 graded run blocking player on our team that game. And Chad told us all he does is prepare. He is prepared for everything. He knows his position, others' positions. And then when you saw the body transformation that you saw when we saw him this summer for the first time at minicamp, and you said, oh, okay, I get it. And I understand, folks, this is a 6th-round pick, but first-round pick talent. And he is a huge part of the future of this franchise. Huge.
There's no doubt, and I think that he's a guy that is going to continue to just see his role and his production grow, and it may not show up necessarily in the numbers, but it's that efficiency that I talked about. You throw him 4 passes, he's caught all 4 of them, 57 yards last week, 2 of 2, 39 yards. His yards have gone up each game, and even if you go back to Kansas City, the one catch that he had, it was on a 3rd down when you needed it on that last drive, and he makes it with a guy draped all over him. He has the complete respect of this organization, of this coaching staff, and the trust of them. And I think he has a real cerebral approach to everything. And even in the interview, you hear that. That's a heavy question right there. I want to think about it and give you the best answer. I'm not just going to spew something off. I want to make sure that what I'm saying to you is what I believe is correct. And so he is I love the kid, and it's cool. His family's been at every game so far this year. Big fan of his. And I think that he's another one of those guys that fits the smart, tough, accountable mantra here that is patiently kind of biding his time. But I think if you were to buy stock, as I said, in Donovan Peoples-Jones, you're going to get a very nice return, I think, as this season goes on, but more 2022, 2023.
Absolutely. Little over-under fun coming up next. Chesty Gibby.
No, not so chesty.
Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. For a running back, getting extra yards is great, but ball security is always the first priority. For gamblers, keeping priorities straight also important. So make sure your bills are paid before you spend money on fun stuff like gambling. Get more tips like this at keepitfunohio.com. Time for a little segment we like to call Over Under. In the last couple of weeks, we have had Chesty
Gibbe has been a real
I will say,
treat. It's sad. It's kind of
it's not kind of. No, it's devastating to me. There are few things I enjoy more than Chesty Gibbe. Last week was unbelievable. I mean, 2 weeks in a row, just unbelievable. But the gods caught up.
It's okay.
I know.
He's still in the
don't
lead.
Follow. Hey, whatever you do, don't follow me for advice.
No. Well, follow us on the scores.
Yeah.
But what
I've
saying
never
is,
been here before.
It's not like.
Right. Why would you do that? Act like you've been there before. I haven't. No. Oh, you hate to see it. This is, I will also say one thing, and nothing but praise for the great Z on a 99% basis. This is the most you've ever struggled in over-under.
Yeah.
This is not, are you chasing?
I don't know. I think I've got to
usually it's.
I think I'll be honest with you. I think I took over-unders for granted, and I put all my attention and
all of
effort
it into
the scores, which you're welcome. But I think it's time that I need to, redouble my efforts and become the over-under king that I was born to be.
I like it. All right, hold on. I got to find the actual.
What was the
52
damage?
We were both 1 and 4.
The actual this week on the over-under is 5-2. So you can start thinking about that. You both went 1 and 4 last week, which is.
It was only my switch to the over on the sacks that saved me from a
and you guys,
donut.
You came at me on that, like that number was so high. My reasoning was pretty good. Rookie quarterback, home crowd.
Listen,
unleashed.
I bought in. Thank goodness.
How many did we end up with? I mean, we had 9 sacks for God's sakes. Let alone
I did
sacks,
change mine. I wasn't in it.
He
first.
did. He sacked it.
Yeah.
He changed it later, which was his only win. We had what did the number end up?
We
had 9 sacks.
9 sacks.
No turnovers.
Oh, that's right. It's amazing that he didn't turn it over. He just kept getting bludgeoned.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1.
Over or under?
Chubb and Hunt. Total yards. You guys have been very mixed on this to this point in the season, on getting it or not. We've moved this number. It's a consistent mover. You have to pay attention to who you're playing. The number is 189.5. Gibbe. Total yards. Chubb, Hunt. 189.5.
That sounds like an awful big number. I'm going to go under. I like being wrong on that number, just for the record.
You both went under last week. Significantly over.
It was significantly over. That was the biggest. That was the biggest.
Against Houston, we were significantly over, too, and we had it at 180.5.
Yeah. What's the number here again?
189.5.
All right. They would be under 3 weeks in a row on that. And the Bengals were the only team that really committed to the run, 34 rushes in that one. Now, nobody has thrown an incomplete pass to a running back against them. They're averaging 36 yards receiving. So do I think that Kareem and Chubb can get to 150 rushing in this game?
Well, you're going to get another, you'll get the 40 in the air.
I think we're going to throw the ball quite a bit in this one. Under.
Oh.
Next.
Over or under?
Zegura.
Yes.
Kirk Cousins rating. 110.5.
110.
110.
That's like a pretty outrageous number.
Go look at what he's done so far.
I know he's been over 90 in 17
He's only had one game this season. He's had 2 in the 120s, and the other one I think is 105.
Not against us. Under.
Give it.
I think he's got to come back to earth here at some point, and I think this is the week. Welcome back.
Next. It's going to take an interception.
Over or
Well,
under?
we haven't had many.
And he hasn't thrown one in 200 straight passes.
Yeah. Already rethinking it. Yeah, he's at 120. I think 123 and a half, 126.
110's a big number, though.
It's not anymore. I think in the old world it was. I mean, it's still good. It's great, right? But his lowest, I think, is a 106. Even in the, so.
This is
and he
the
doesn't
best
turn it
defense
over.
he's played.
It is. your guys' favorite. Sacks, interceptions, and fumbles. Gibbe, 3.1.
Sacks, interceptions, fumbles.
3.1.
Over. Over. I think it might. I don't know if it comes in the form of the INT. I hope it does, because then my quarterback rating comes into play. But I feel like forcing a fumble or two, maybe.
Okay. I like it.
You know we're going to get to him. We'll get to him.
I hope. He gets it out quick.
I mean, I don't understand the quarterback formula, but I just want to throw this out there. In the game that he was under 110, he was 36 of 49, which is 74% for 351 yards and 2 touchdowns.
It's probably just yards per attempt.
And it's touchdowns. The ones that he's been over, he's thrown 3 in each of those games. Interesting. 3.1.
Yep.
The Bengals did that. They had 3 sacks and they had 1 fumble recovery.
Me? Let's go.
Yeah, but that's probably my problem right now.
Let's go. You're overthinking it.
No, now I'm locking.
Just
I'm
go
locking
in.
into what
Just
I
dive
like to
in.
do.
The water's warm.
This is like a
Come on
junior high conversation. Young Z contemplating Gibby trying to influence him to do something derelict of his duties.
Absolutely.
Just come on, Ed. You're safe.
on.
What's the harm? You're safe, pal.
Cousins has put the ball on the ground 2 games in a row. None have been taken from him. Do I think we can get 3 sacks against them and a fumble? I do.
Oh.
Nice. Welcome.
Next.
Over or under.
Are we the same on all 3? Did Gibbe go
You
under
are.
on the rating?
You are. Yep. Baker Mayfield, quarterback rating. Quarterback
Always a tough
rating. 105.5. Segura.
What's hard about that is it's so touchdown dependent, and
It
that
is.
has been
And he doesn't throw a lot.
that has been thus far.
Hasn't yet thrown a lot of
He hasn't thrown a lot of them. So his quarterback ratings. What was the number?
105.5.
So he would be under all 3 games thus far. 97.5, 105, 97 are his 3 numbers.
However,
However,
their defense.
has been absolutely
Abysmal.
dreadful. I got to double down because I thought earlier we're going to throw it a lot over.
Over. Get it.
I think it's over.
Oh, my God.
I think Baker knows that it's going to fall on him to make some plays Sunday for us to win. And I think he comes ready to play.
Over or under.
The actual 5-2. Give it.
Over. Shootout at the OK Corral in Minneapolis.
I have to have something different than him. We can't be the same.
Yes, you can.
All right.
That should be in the cold open of the show right there. I have to have something different than him. I can't be the same. What did you say? Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
I'm going to say
It's
it's
not
like
that
30
high.
to 21. I know. It's not,
It's not that high. Both. I mean, this could both be in the 30s.
Right.
Totally reasonable.
All right.
To think it to be.
I'll take the
31,
over
28.
there.
Wow.
What I'm going to do, though, is now change to the
Oh,
under
no.
on the sacks turnovers.
Oh my gosh!
Because if I'm
A
wrong
late
about
change.
that, if I'm wrong about that, we're winning anyway.
A
So,
late
I like it.
change out of Segura.
That's fine. As long as he doesn't wait till Sunday midway through the second quarter to go, hey, by the way,
Do you think
I
my
think I want to
text?
change that.
I changed it in the show last week, Cheste Gibbe. You're too chesty to hear it.
You were so chesty last week. It was all-time chestiness out of you. I couldn't have loved you more. All right. You'll hear from Coach Stefanski coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. When you're dedicated to bring the best value to your customers, well, you got to do a little extra work. And at Northeast Factory Direct, they do that. In fact, they're founded on the principle that quality shouldn't cost a ton, and they prove it every single day to you. They keep that overhead low. They buy by the truckload. They pass the savings on to you, the customer. And during Northeast Factory Direct's garage sale, you can find some sweet deals. Queen pillow top mattresses starting at $399. Double-sided pillow tops for $699. And when you buy that Queen Prestige mattress for $699 or King Prestige mattress for $799, you're going to get a bundle of free stuff, a set of sheets, 2 pillows, a mattress protector. They throw it right in. Other places charge you for that stuff. Not at Northeast Factory Direct. Check them out. West 140th Street in Cleveland, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, or Freeway Drive in Macedonia. You can shop them online anytime at northeastfactorydirect.com. Time for a little visit with our coach, and this is from the Kevin Stefanski Show from last night on the University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. Here's Coach with Dr. Z previewing the game.
Video.
You guys are down.
Anticipated return in the NFL this week.
Yeah.
You going back to Minnesota. For you, it's just a business trip. But, I'm sure at the end of the year, maybe is that when you're going to look back and say, this was pretty cool. But the question I want to ask you is this. At what point in your 14 years in Minnesota did it actually click in your mind that, you know what, it could be possible someday I'm going to lead another NFL franchise back into this building as a head coach?
Yeah, never. That's an easy question. Never. And that's where, I firmly believe that you do the job you have and you try and do it better than anybody has before. So, that was really my mindset in any of those moments was do your job. I recognize this piece of it, being in that place for so long, it's just really hard for me to go there when I see these players and I see that coaching staff and I see that building. This is a big challenge for our football team. To go on the road and beat a really good football team, that's a challenge. So that really has all of my attention.
We talked to Courtney Cronin on Browns Daily yesterday. She said really when you took over as the offensive coordinator, it was kind of the start of the shift of the identity to the Minnesota Vikings, which had typically been a defensive team, to becoming an offensive team. And frankly, we've seen that this year. They've got Dalvin Madison steps in, goes over 100. They've got Kirk Cousins, who's playing incredibly elite, efficient football. Jefferson, Thielen, Tyler Conklin showing up last week. This is a very different experience for our defense this week going against a team. They don't get sacked. The ball comes out quick. They hit the play action. In some ways, mirror image that that Spider-Man meme. But this is a team, when you talk about that's playing at a high level offensively, they are.
Oh, they're playing lights out. And I got to watch their game. I did some TV watching when we got back from our game and sat there on the couch and watched them. And I thought Clint Kubiak called an excellent game. Kirk's playing at an extremely high level. He processes information as quick as anybody I've ever been around. He's accurate. The 2 receivers on the outside are incredible. So we have our work cut out for us. And I think that's week in and week out of the NFL. You have different challenges. And I think our defense, right on Wednesday when we started this game plan, you look at that depth chart and you look at who they have on the outside, Dalvin Cook, who can do it all as a home run threat. So it's a challenge. It's hard. These are tough games. So that's where we really focus on the work week and making sure that we're ready to go on Sunday.
When you play a team that goes against a similar, obviously not exact, similar style offense, there aren't going to be a lot of surprises here. But it's a team that doesn't play as much shell. So is this a game for one-on-one guys, go out there, handle your business against the Vikings defense?
Yeah, I would tell you this Vikings defense has definitely evolved from the time I was with Coach Zimmer. They've done a really nice job of mixing up coverages. They are playing more cover 2 than when I was there previously. Some of their fronts they're just expanding on some packages that they had previously. So it's a challenge. They have a very sound scheme. I know their coaches. I know they're really, really good. So we have to be about our business, and I think that goes without saying. But there's definitely specific challenges to this week that we have to be on point.
This team could easily be 3-0. I mean, overtime week 1. Missed short field goal week 2 against Arizona. You're right. A big challenge. I'm sure you're excited to go for the business aspect of it and see where your team measures up. Get your first road win of the season. Coach, thanks as always for the time.
Thanks, Nathan.
Look, you got about as much. It's an expert job, but you got as much you're going to get out of him. I can't imagine what this means. And it goes back to you can say that when you say do the job that you're hired to do that job. And it's one thing to talk like that, but he really does that. And I'm sure he did that exactly in Minnesota, which is how he went from regime to regime and was a constant. I'm sure that's why many in that organization viewed him potentially as a very real successor to Zimmer. If that was ever something that came about, he was beloved in that organization.
Yeah.
It is something that he has preached since he got here. And you can hear it in our guys. You heard it in the Tech McKinley interview you did last night on the Coaches Show, the amount of times he said the word work. Well, where do you think he's hearing that? That's Kevin Stefanski. It's about the work. It's about this week. So with all of that being said, of course this is going to be an emotional time. Did you ever – it's one of those things where you say, do you ever even dare to dream that you're going to be the head coach of an NFL team in this stadium? And you asked him that question, and he goes, well, that's a simple one. No, of course not. Why would I – no, I'm just trying to find my way.
Apparently everybody there thought it. But,
right.
But not him.
Not him.
Because he wouldn't let himself think.
No, but I don't know that you can dare to dream that big when you start out, when you're just trying to knock down doors.
No.
You got to stay in the moment,
by
in the process.
2018, he could have thought perhaps, hey, maybe someday I'll be ahead.
Certainly,
yeah.
But he's not. He doesn't think like he's not loose with thought like we are.
No.
You and I are reckless with thought. He's not.
Well, we're idea.
Discipline. We thrive on enthusiasm. He is. There's a discipline to him, and an unwillingness to look beyond the moment he's in, which is why he's such a great coach. Why this team has responded. I think one of the most amazing things about Kevin Stefanski is he had to win this roster over. And this is a tough roster to win over because the previous regime brought in a lot of these guys, and there were a lot of feelings in terms of how much a lot of the guys on this team liked the previous regime, and he had to win over this roster. He had to win them over. He had to do so amidst a pandemic without being face-to-face
and
through screens.
Through great social unrest.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. And he won it over by being brilliant.
And
I had a buddy of mine who played in the league who said, and I asked him when we hired Stefanski, I said, well, what do you think? And he goes, I said, I don't know how familiar, I don't know if our guys know him. He obviously had the great year in Minnesota, but he's not a former player, nothing like that. He goes, none of that matters. He goes, the only thing that matters to the players will be, is he smart? Because what is he smart translate to from a player's perspective is, will he put me in a position to succeed? And once you start having that on film,
yeah, will he help me win? Will he help me make money?
That's it. And he checks those boxes, and that's something that you can only win guys over by doing it. That's it.
The Hoff said the same thing. He says when you have a coach who is consistently putting you in good positions, you want to bust your butt more because A, you know that you have a chance to be very, very successful, and B, if you're the one who screws up, it's going to be obvious. When you know that you're being set up to fail, it doesn't matter anymore.
Right. That's right.
It's that guy's fault.
Yep.
But when you know you're not, then you got to mind your P's and Q's. You got to be good. You got to be on it. Yeah, he won these guys over, and it's because he's consistent. He's real. He's honest. He is hardworking. I mean, the fact that this operation in the first playoff game that we'd been in way too long ran as smoothly as it did, even though he wasn't in the stadium. Joel Bitonio wasn't out there. Denzel Ward wasn't out there. And we trounced the Steelers, and it looked and felt very much like Kevin Stefanski was there. That tells you, A, the collaborative nature and the inclusion that he has, the ownership he gives to everybody on the staff, but also just the fact that he has established a culture of this is how we do our business on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, game day. Rinse, repeat. And that's what he's done. And that's what he's done here. And that's what makes him, I think, so special. He's also a very good, schematically, he's very good. He's got a good feel. He's aggressive. He puts everything on the players. He would never throw them under the bus in the media. He constantly is praising them. And he gets it. He just flat out gets it. He gets what it means to be successful. There are going to be some trying times. This is a team with a lot of expectations.
Yeah.
And maybe we will just go breeze through the season, but I don't think so.
I don't think so. No,
it's just
tough schedule.
Tough schedule, and yet a lot of teams in the NFL are very, very good. But what he does very well is convey, look, we just need to take care of this week. Let's not think big picture. Let's stay focused, as you said, narrow in your focus, and then that way everything seems attainable. Now, we asked him and joked at the return, if we are going to play the bad news Bears in Minnesota, if the the Vikings were the Jags or
Jets, Giants, whoever.
Something like that.
Somebody bad, yeah.
I don't think it would change one bit. He would be building them up. This is a humongous test. Now, in this case, it happens to be, I think, a very fair test for the Browns. But that's just who he is. He doesn't take anything for granted either. We've got to go out there and execute. And look, in the NFL, we know it. You had a game last week where it was tied with a team that had negative total yards.
I think for those of you if you try to think about this from in terms of Coach Stefanski, think of it this way. This is a guy who won NFL Coach of the Year last year. He was asked all offseason to do interviews, lots of them.
Yeah.
All the NFL podcasts wanted him to do them. He didn't do any. He didn't do one. In fact, Peter Schrager told a story. He's known him forever. And Schrager said, hey, man, we'd love to have you on. We're having everybody on. Arians is on. Belichick, all these guys, everybody's come on. And Kevin's like, look, I'm not doing anything locally. I'm not going to do anything with you guys either. It's nothing personal. It's just not about me.
Right.
That's him.
He came back after he got that and said, this is an award for the entire staff.
Yeah.
Means we have the best staff.
Yeah. That's him. And that's how he lives it, man. Like, it ain't fake. Because these guys can see through fake.
Yeah.
Players can see through fake. It's not. It's the way the guy operates. Beau Bishop here for my friends at Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's presents the other rules of football. Rule 1, serving cooked-to-order chicken finger meals always earns you extra points. Number 2, no penalty for excessive cane sauce dipping. Raising Cane's is ready to tackle all your chicken finger game day needs. When it comes to winning game day, Cane's rules. One love and a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks. Coming up next, your keys to victory. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. A home, Howard Hanna Real Estate Services has you covered. Visit howardhanna.com/GoBrowns today. And now time for your keys to victory. Dr. Z.
Yes. All right, let's get into the keys to victory for the Browns and the Vikings. This one won't be a full key, but it's always good to just throw out there because it actually does matter. When the Browns do not turn the football over under head coach Kevin Stefanski, they have never lost a game. Let's go ahead and think about that again. When the Browns have not turned the football over under head coach Kevin Stefanski, they have never lost a game. What games were those? Washington football team week 3 a year ago. Dallas Cowboys week 4 a year ago, 2-0. Then you go down Houston Texans 3-0. New York Giants 4-0. Pittsburgh Steelers week 17 5-0. Playoff game against Steelers 6-0. And then last week 7-0. 7 clean sheets, victory. So clean sheet leads to victory. Truthfully, if you're neutral or even in the turnover battle, you're going to win as well. But that's a clean sheet. We'll start there. Number 2. The raw power running attack. One way to slow down an elite offense is to keep them on the sidelines while you control the game with your offense. The Browns and the Vikings are both dominant time of possessions team. The Browns 3rd right now, the Vikings 10th, but the Browns have Chubb and Hunt. Right now, they are the 2nd-ranked rushing attack in the NFL, 174.7 yards per game, sit 3rd at 5.14 yards per carry. Chubb and Hunt are the only pair of teammates in the league with at least a combined 425 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns. Also, the only duo to have combined for at least 100 yards rushing and a touchdown in every single game this year. The Vikings right now, 119 yards per game on the ground, generous 4.8 yards per carry. That's actually 5th most in the NFL. Running backs who've received at least 12 carries against the Vikings have at least 80 yards rushing and a touchdown. Mixon at $127 in week 1. So run the football. Number 2, tight coverage and limit yak. Kirk Cousins has not thrown an interception in 200 straight dropbacks. He's only been sacked on 4.1% of his dropbacks, 6th fewest in the NFL. He can push the ball downfield. He has been prolific over the last 10 games. We've told you this already. 2nd in yards, 3rd in touchdowns, 3rd with just 2 interceptions, 3rd 70% completion percentage. Playing elite. He gets the ball out fast. 57% of his dropbacks in under 2.5 seconds. On those, 78% completions, 466 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks, quarterback rating of 117.5. 500 of their 929 passing yards this year after the catch. So he's going to get it out quick. It's going to be tough to get all those sacks, but you can get batted balls. And if you do get home, he will put the ball on the ground. So look for the Browns to be swiping as they come around the edges to try to knock that ball out. Here's another fun fact. 69% of his pass attempts have come within 9 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Jeez.
That is a high percentage. So he gets it out, but he can do it. Speaking of those batted balls, 42 batted down for Kirk Cousins since 2018, most in the NFL. And finally, you got to score, I think, to win a shootout. This is the number 7 overall offense versus the number 3 overall offense. These are both top 10 in scoring, averaging a combined right now 57.7 points per game, which makes me think, by the way, that total is set at a weird way to entice everybody to go under, and maybe this is going to end up being some random 24-14 Browns domination. Just throwing that out
God, I
there.
hope so. I hope so.
But isn't that weird that they're
It is.
averaging right now 57 points a game together?
Yeah.
And the total's 52?
Yeah.
And they've just had back-to-back. You know, last week was, 30-17, so that's 47. The week before with Arizona was in the 60s.
Right.
Week 1 was 27-24, which would have been 51.
Right.
So they've only had one game over that total despite the averages. Nonetheless, I digress. But you got to take advantage of this defense, and especially in the red zone right now, they're giving up 75% touchdowns. So just go out there, 7s, not 3s. Put the pedal down. I think this is a game you are going to have to score, though, to win, and I think the Browns certainly are capable of doing that against this Vikings team. And we mentioned earlier, attack these corners. Pat Pete, Brashad Breeland, Mackenzie Alexander, when targeted this year, 38 completions on 45 attempts, 577 yards, 6 touchdowns. Yes, that is 84%. Here's the quarterback rating against each. Peterson, 157.9. Breeland, 157.2. Alexander, the star, 118.8. They've allowed a 100-yard receiver every game, by the way. I thought that was going to be in an over-under. Odell Beckham Jr. over 100 yards.
I pulled it late just because I don't know what it's a hard one to put into perspective, his total yards on what it could be. Like, I could see him getting 130 yards in the game, but I could also see that not being necessary. So I think it's he's a hard one. I'm so thrilled for him. I was so happy for him with how he played last week. You could see how emotional it was for him pregame, postgame, and even during. And you saw flashes of what he's capable of. But there's not enough data out there yet to see like how much he's going to be relied upon week to week.
He got 9 targets last week, which
he did.
is pretty good.
But a lot of them were early.
You think that might maintain itself. So far, the opponent's most targeted receiver, week 1, Jamar Chase was 7. He had 5 catches, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Week 2, Rondale Moore, 8 targets, 7 catches, 114, and a touchdown. Week 3, DK Metcalf, 9 targets, 6 catches, 107, and you guessed it, a touchdown. Yeah. Could this be a Hyundai and a tutty?
I'd love to see it. I would love to see it.
We haven't had a receiver catch a touchdown yet this year.
Well, how many's Bake thrown? Just a couple, right?
He's thrown 1 to Hoop last week.
Yeah, Hoop last just 2 or 3, right?
Yeah. Hoop last week.
I mean, it's because we get all the way down there.
Well, we lead the league in rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
we're at 8.
That's why it hasn't happened.
I think he's the only thrown
just the 2.
Yeah, just the 2.
Yeah.
1 to Demetric Felton on the screen.
Well, yeah, that's right. First score.
And 1 to Austin Hooper. Although Demetric Felton, we'll call him a receiver in that play, shall we?
When you were mentioning that about Cousins and getting the ball out quickly, and I do wonder if this sets up for JOK to be able to jump into some lanes. He did that so expertly last week, and I understand Cousins is a veteran compared to Fields in his first ever start with a terrible game plan. But JOK's ability to jump into passing lanes quickly was on display last week, and I wonder if him and Ronnie on each side have an opportunity this week to maybe make a little hay jumping into some passing lanes.
Yeah, you certainly think that the opportunities are there, and that's why I say you got to take some gambles here. You got to try to get some batted balls from your linemen, but on the back end, take a couple of gambles, educated gambles.
Yeah.
And go for it and try to jump one of these quick hitters to Justin Jefferson or to a Thielen.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. This is an awesome matchup, and if anyone would know what Cousins can do well, and he can do a lot well, and what he struggles with, it would be Coach, and Joe Woods would be having all of that. And it's one of those things. It's just like the other one, which is going to be so much fun, which is Brady going back to New England. You do wonder if, when you know so much about someone and it's a paralysis by analysis situation where you he does this, and then you over counter the mistakes, or you overthink it, simply put. And you do wonder if there will be a little of that in this game. I think this is a fascinating one for us. I think it's a great litmus test for where we are, especially offensively. And I would love to see us start fast. We have not done that since Kansas City, and that's been surprising to me that we haven't been able to put it in the paint. We've been able to get drives, and that paid off in terms of wearing teams out in the second half of games. But even last week against Chicago, we weren't able to capitalize once we got down there. And we go for it on 4th down all the time, which I love. But we've got to start converting those and putting it in the paint. When you play teams like this one, the team we play next week, the team we play the week after, we're going to play 3 straight great offenses.
Yeah,
that can do about anything they want. This one is the best running game of the 3. The other 2 sling it around a little bit more, maybe a little more explosive, and can certainly stretch the field more. But your defense is going to be tested. Your offense is going to have to put the ball in the paint. 3s are going to be no good the next 3 weeks. You got to get 7s to get wins the next 3 weeks.
Yes, 7s, not 3s. Those 4-point plays, absolutely. That's what it's going to take.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, a little segment we like to call The Scores.
Oh, pay attention and line your pockets.
Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Bo here for my friends at Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's presents the other rules of football. Rule 1, serving cooked-to-order chicken finger meals always earns you extra points. And Rule 2, there is no penalty for excessive cane sauce dipping. Raising Cane's is ready to tackle all your chicken finger game day needs. Actually, I'm going to pick some up tonight for Beamsy's friend birthday party. So we'll have little Cane's out there when it comes to winning.
What a delight. On
game day or on football Fridays. Cane's Rules, one love and a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks. Time for a little segment we like to call The Scores.
Week 4 in the National Football League, and let's get down to it. Game number 1, 1 o'clock Sunday.
Hold on a second. Wow.
Give me the ball's not going to spike itself.
Yeah, if this were the over-underers and you did well, you'd be
I'm
having
sorry, I
music
thought we were
and a
acting like we'd
parade
been
and
there
an
before.
interlude.
I thought we were acting
wanna-
like we'd been there before.
We just
You
want to
know-
give a fair
you know-
update to the people.
You know damn good and well that we've been there before,
Yeah,
and
we're
we
always
love
there. We're
to
the
tell
mayors
people
of
that
there.
we've been there before. We are not act like you've been there, guys. That's
No.
not who we are.
We celebrate our greatness.
Well, I don't know. I get told that I should act like I've been there before, so.
No. Huge B's. Look at that. And that B stands for boom, because another winning week in the bag for the boys. Beau Bishop, hot. 11
What's a Beau
and
Bishop?
What's a Beau Bishop? 11-5. And this was a week that if you guys had, gone back and forth, if you ham and egged it between us, you could have gone 13-3. That was the max. Beau had Arizona over Jacksonville. He had the Atlanta Falcons, the straight to hell Falcons.
That's my Costanza pick. That was do the opposite. Do the
opposite. He had those ones. I had the Chargers over the Chiefs. I had the Saints over New England that you did not. And then you also had the separator here. You had the Raiders over Jacoby Brissett and the Dolphins. 11-5 Bishop, 10-6 Zegura. 18 games over 500 through 3 weeks. 14 games over 500.
Oh, boy.
32 total. Wow.
Now you can go get it.
Now give it.
Everybody good? Everybody get their participation trophies for the week?
No, these
All
aren't.
right.
These aren't participation
Just making
trophies.
sure.
These are houses. These are money phones. That's what we're having right now.
You keep finding things in that drawer. I don't even want to know what else is in there.
There's a lot of good stuff in there.
I've hidden a lot of it.
There's a lot of good stuff in there. Oh boy, the little P.
Just a small P.
Just a small little P.
All right. The Carolina Panthers.
You remember this
visiting-
one we put mustaches on?
Yes,
They
I
came
remember
with them
this
on.
as well.
They came with them.
Carolina, Dallas, Jerry World, no Christian McCaffrey. Zegura, lead us off. Week 4.
This is the best defense in the NFL right now. They lose J.C. Horn. They bring in C.J. Henderson. Does he have time to get ready against this elite passing attack? But they can get to the quarterback. They can get to the quarterback very, very effectively. Can the Carolina Panthers. But Dallas, a little bit too much in Jerry World. Cowboys, 27. Panthers, 22.
I'm to the point with Dallas where I kind of think maybe they're just good. I know they're good offensively, and I think Pollard adds to it certainly what he can give them in the run game along with Zeke. They've got a lot of people they can throw it to. Schultz came around last week, and they've got a couple of guys defensively who are wreaking havoc. Diggs among them now with a couple of pick sixes in back-to-back weeks. I think Dallas might just be really good. I think the injuries for Carolina are too much, although I do think Chuba Hubbard has a big one.
He's good.
I think he's good. He was really good at Oklahoma State, and I think he's good. So I think there's points in this game to be had. I'm with you. I got Dallas 31, Carolina 24.
I could see Micah Parsons off the edge against former Brown Cam Irving.
Oh, see, I don't like that matchup. I don't like Darnold's got it still.
We've only seen good Darnold so far.
Well, even in the goods, though, there's a couple where get rid of the ball, kid. Get rid of the ball.
Up next, kids, Detroit, Chicago. Update from Adam Schefter literally 9 minutes ago. Matt Nagy saying today his starting QB for Sunday's matchup will be a game-time decision. Jeez. Clown show continues in Chicago. Bears hosting the Lions. Bishop, lead us off.
On the week that it becomes known that they are not going to be the Chicago Bears, they're going to be the Arlington Bears, as they'll move out to the suburbs eventually. I mean, I think that's – so you got that going on. So you got a coach who won't commit to a quarterback. If I had a quarterback like Fields, who I drafted in the first round, and they had to endure what they endured last week here, I would get him right back out there. I would not let that marinate. I think Matt Nagy's got a mutiny on his hands. And I like the heart in Detroit. I like the heart. I think they're going to gnaw the Bears' legs off. Bears, 18. Lions, 20.
The Lions do have a lot of heart, but it was broken by Justin Tucker's 66-yard field goal. They've changed Madden ratings as a result of that kick. People were crying in the stands as a result of that. You don't come back from that. And you can say what you want about this Bears offense, but this Bears defense is good. It is very good, and they are going to be harassing Jared Goff, who I love, and DeAndre Swift, and it's not going to be fun. As good as Hawkinson is, the Bears are going to win this one. Bears 2. Bears 3. Lions 0.
I was going to say all of that for same?
Yeah, I was going to say. Up next,
that
kids.
game's going to have a lingering effect.
I'm
There's
intrigued.
no doubt
both.
in my mind.
What would make you think that the Bears wouldn't?
No, the Bears
bludgeoning
are like,
that they took.
The Bears have had players-only meetings. We're doing this ourselves. Forget that bozo. Let's go do this.
I don't like
defense, we need to do it. They beat, let's not forget, they beat the Bengals.
That place will be.
They beat the Bengals.
The anger that will be in that place if they don't start Fields or if they struggle will be palpable. Detroit's played good in all 3 games. They came back, showed heart against the 49ers, had a great 3 quarters against Green Bay despite being outmanned. Last week they should have won. You're right, there's a toll, but I think Jared Goff, who I've always liked, I know you were a Wentz guy, I've always liked Goff. Goff's going to show a little heart.
Up next, kids, from the worst division in the AFC South, I bring you the Houston Texans traveling to Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills, since that Week 1 mysterious loss to the Steelers, they've been clicking on all cylinders. Bills, Texans, Zegura.
17?
17.
Yep.
Wasn't that a song? I mean, historically, these things are never as easy as they seem. When numbers get this big in the National Football League, people have pride. Of course the Bills are going to win this game. But by 17? 17? I mean, if they score 35, that's a good game. They just have to get to 20. Can they? Davis Mills?
Young D. Mills. Wasn't that the name of Brad Pitt's character in Seven?
Davis Mills?
Detective Mills.
Detective Mills?
Yeah, I believe it was.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Ah!
You don't want to know what's in that box.
You don't want to know.
sad. I hate this game. I'm just doing it anyway. Sucker bet of all sucker bets. Bills 40, Texans 24.
Bills 40, Texans 7. Bills last 2. They beat the Dolphins 35-0. They beat the football team 43-21. Slump City.
Bloodletting coming.
Yeah. Allen's got it slinging again too.
Who do you think's not taking the Bills in this game? If you were to pull 100
it's such a big
people on the
number. I think a
streets-
lot of people will take the points. I mean, 17's a lot. That's why it keeps moving, but it eventually will get to the point where it'll even itself out.
What should it be? 20?
I think 17's fine. I just think Buffalo is rolling, baby.
Yeah.
The question is, do the Bills call off the dogs?
Yes.
That's where.
Well, if you do call off the dogs, is there anything less to do the chasing from the Houston side? Like,
Can there be a.
are they competent enough to get anything going?
Maybe. Up next, the 0-3 Indianapolis Colts traveling to 1-2 Miami. Colts still looking for that first win of the year. Struggle continues. Dolphins going to trot out Jacoby Brissett on Sunday. Bishop.
Man, Indy. You remember a couple of years ago, and even going into last season, looking at them and going, geez, they got everything. It's a really good roster. It's a really good roster. And it's just all gone to heck, man. It's all gone to heck. Here's a little crazy thing about Miami, too. They're better with Brissett. Miami, 20. Indy, 17.
Ram it.
Up next,
No
kids.
Quentin Nelson either. No Rocky Sin. No Quiddy Pay.
Yeah.
I agree. That was already written in. I knew before you even made that pick, it already said Miami on both sides. 100%.
Up next, the Philadelphia Eagles playing host to the last place team in the AFC West, the defending two-time AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Rabbit.
There once was a time when a young man named the 1-2-3 Kid shocked the wrestling world when he beat Razor Ramon. Well, they wrestled again. It didn't go so well. I think this is kind of the Chiefs' rally game. They got to get it together. This is a statement game, and I think they annihilate the Eagles.
Eagles stink.
Kansas City, ram it.
I don't care that the Eagles have a win already this year.
800-6.
$1 billion
Yeah.
to 7.
$1 billion plus 1 to 6.
I think the Eagles are one of the 4 worst teams in the NFL. Not good.
I don't like these lines this week.
Yeah?
I said that last week.
Nope.
I don't either.
We don't talk about that. Just scores.
It worked fine.
It's just scores, kids. Up next, speaking of garbage, the New York Football Giants on the road visiting Jameis and company. Are they back in New Orleans? Or are we in Jacksonville?
They're
Where
in
are
New
we
Orleans. They are in New Orleans. I think that. Am I first? Am I first on this?
at? Sure, go ahead.
I think that this is the hardest team in the NFL for me to wrap my head around is New Orleans. Their numbers, their scores, if you will, are all over the map. All over the map. In week 1,
Dominant.
Green Bay, a field goal and a half. New Orleans, dominant. In week 2, Saints, -3.5.
At Carolina.
Stomped by the Panthers. Last week, trying to figure them out. Well, what are they? Are they the team that was great, the team that stinks? So they go to New England. You say, boy, Belichick, Jameis, they're getting 3. Getting a field goal. You loved them. I didn't.
No.
All right.
And they stomped them. They
Stomped
stomped them.
So it's 1 up, 1 down. One
They
up, 1
beat-
down. 1 up, 1 down. They blew it, boy. All right, here's the deal. Everything tells me, in my mind, that the Giants stink.
Yeah.
That they stink.
Yes.
And that New Orleans will hammer them. This is the Costanza pick. We're going to do the opposite. New Orleans 20, Giants 14.
Ooh.
Is this the first game that's played in New Orleans all season?
I believe so. I don't know what the situation
So
down there
much
is.
emotion.
A lot of emotion, yeah.
A lot of emotion. A better team, better coach. Listen, the judge says, Giants, you are guilty of not being very good.
You stink.
Saints, 22. Giants, 14.
Oh, God. Same but different.
Up next, a game where a lot of pieces, parts moving around, kids. Jets playing host to the Titans. Denzel Mims will play for the Jets tomorrow. Out for the Titans.
Was that newsworthy?
Julio Jones.
Is that Curtis Martin?
and
Did you say
A.J.
Curtis
Brown.
Martin is playing? Is Mark Gastineau available, Gibbe?
The Jets are playing host to the Titans, and the Titans don't have their 2 best wide receivers and 2 of their better weapons. Zegura, lead us off.
They still have Derrick Henry. They're still better.
They have, the Jets have Beau's favorite quarterback.
My guy. Loved him in the recruiting process.
Loved
too.
him.
Loved him in the lead up to the draft.
It was clear to you he was always number 2.
Never understood it.
Never. You never.
Why would you question it? Why would
Yeah,
you?
bunch of jerks. Titans $8 billion. Jets 6 less than $8 billion. Is that Corey Davis? Former Titan revenge game when they're down 13 and he hits a nice little pass there when the game is over. Corey Davis backdoor revenge game. Jets, 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 Jets.
Titans 7, Jets 0.
You don't believe that?
I want to take you back to the
No,
Giants
I don't. I don't
game.
feel good about that one. I haven't felt good about a lot of these, to be perfectly honest. Now, that being said, I'll probably still go 11-5.
By the way, For the Giants, I'm giving you an opportunity in case Zegura comes back at 10 o'clock tonight and wants to change. You can only change now. Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, both out for the Giants on Sunday.
Yeah, I have the Saints. I'm comfortable. Comfortable.
I'm doing the opposite. I'm Costanza. Do the opposite.
All right.
What he's right about is who in the world is putting their hard-earned money right now on
Nobody.
the Giants? Nobody.
Nobody.
Is how casinos make money when crazy things happen. And they don't even have to win the game. They just have to be close.
All right. Up next, we got to get moving. This one.
Hate to.
Suck.
Boss.
Falcons hosting Washington.
Football team.
Ram it. Curtis Samuel back, perhaps, for the football team.
Gutless Falcons.
Gutless. I wonder if what's-his-face is out of the locker rooms yet.
That's amazing. That was one of the most amazing dropping stories of all time at the end of that show.
I'm going to drop another one on you before the end of today's show.
Kanye's living in the locker room.
Outrageous.
And he won't leave. What?
4 o'clock games. Arizona. Rams. This is a big one. 4:05. FYI, Sean McVay saying running back Darrell Henderson Jr. will play Sunday.
Doesn't matter.
After missing last week's game with a rib injury.
Ram it.
Rams.
Oh, God.
67.
Don't do it.
Kyler.
Oh, gosh.
Rondale.
Oh, no.
DeAndre.
Oh, God.
AJ.
No, don't.
Captain Kirk.
So sad.
66.
I can't even remember what you said for the Rams.
I didn't know what the first
70.
Yeah. Sad. Hate to see it.
Up
Same, but
next, Pedro Not Pedro's 49ers playing host to the Seattle Seahawks. The worst team in the NFC West. Can I interest you in that? And a guy still on the hot seat in San Francisco.
No, he's not.
Hey, Dad, do you think maybe we can go down to Santa Clara and watch the game? It's me, Nate. You think we can take me down there to watch the game? I'm still really heartbroken. We lost to the Packers last week. That was a personal game for us.
Nerd, we blew it. You knew they were going to get that field. How do you leave them so open right at the end of the game? Nerd, the good news is you got me this great TV for my birthday a year ago. We're going to watch it in 4K.
Niners, 14. Seahawks got real issues, 10.
Same.
Next,
Gold Rush it.
Broncos 3-0.
say ram
Ravens
it, Nate.
2-1. Denver, the Mile High City, playing host to Baltimore. Can Baltimore's luck continue? More importantly, can Denver's luck continue? I don't even know who goes first here.
Denver's not lucky. They're good. They're good on defense. They have an efficient offense led by Theodore Bridgewater, Cortland Sutton. You've got, of course, Tim Patrick, who has played very well that we're not talking a lot about. Noah Fant, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, and an excellent defense that is built to slow down a team just like these Baltimore Ravens. You say paper tiger, I say ram it, Broncos.
Wow, no Judy, no Hamler, no Chubb.
No problem.
No problem. Big problem. Baltimore's better. They win. And I hate to see it, but they're going to win.
Up next, Squealers, Packers, Lambeau Field,
Ram it.
425.
Pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. I came to win. Ben Roethlisberger's arm is a sin.
Amazing. Beatdown. Same.
Sunday night football, the game we've all been waiting for.
Have we?
I
It's
guess.
the second biggest return.
If you listen,
of the
if
week.
you listen
Yeah,
to the
second biggest of the
national
week.
prognosticators. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady returns to Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick.
Why are we making a bigger deal about Antonio Brown's return to Foxborough?
Richard Sherman's debut
Gronk?
in a Tampa
Is
Bay
Gronk
uniform.
going to play? Yeah.
Gronk?
Look, this is going to be sweet. I'm really curious about the lead up. If I'm New England, I just pepper him with love. Tell him how great it is. Go embrace him. Give him an embrace. Bob Kraft embrace. Remember when Manning went back to Indy and he cried in warm-ups? That's how emotional it was for him. I think Brady will have some of that. I'm sure he's not interested in it. I think you're going to get everything you want. I think Brady, last minute, drives down, wins it in Foxborough, 30-27.
The problem is Mac Jones is not capable of holding up his end of the bargain. When he's finally played a good defense, he looked like a fraudster.
Is this a good defense anymore, though? Their secondary is ravaged.
It is still. They
they're
can still
ravaged,
get home.
though. They can get home, but they're ravaged in the back
end. They've got those
end.
great linebackers on trusty steeds. There's a little bit of injury there, but who scares you? Name the New England receiver that scares you.
Myers got to go at some point, doesn't he?
He's a 9 yards a catch guy.
Yeah.
Nelson Aguilar?
Belichick. Keeps it close.
This is Tom Brady wants to make a statement. Yes, I won the Super Bowl without you. Now I want to come back and I want to slump you.
He's going to get everything he wants.
Just like when Joe Montana with the Kansas City Chiefs took on the Niners. They weren't even favored. Are you kidding me? They were dogs, and he won.
Yeah.
Brady, $1 billion.
This could be separation.
Belichick, 1.
Separation Sunday.
Between you and I?
Yeah, a lot of differences here, brother. We'll get our score coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers, Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO today for a free case review. And Elk and Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Football Browns, home of Brad Millen.
Legend.
Perhaps the greatest man in the National Football League and the equipment boss of the NFL. All others aspire.
Equipment manager
of the year. Everybody else aspires to that level of greatness, including our football team.
I mean, I still look in the mirror every day and say, I want to get to the Mellon standard of excellence.
Never will.
No, but
Won't.
it keeps me motivated.
Aspire.
Right, aspire. That's right. He's the king.
Brownies. Vikes.
28.
Got to get over that
Good
52
guys.
mark. Got to get over that 52 mark.
Good guys.
Same.
By the way,
This is a fun game. Can't wait to see it. Go ahead.
me, backstage, Snoop, Dre, Eminem, and the guy that I went with, that I drove up with and went to the
Mr.
concert
Dog?
with,
Mr.
Marilyn
Dre?
Manson. I'll leave you with that. Good night, everybody.
The beautiful people. The beautiful people.
Cleveland Browns.